Active shooter. Active shooter, active killer. Their names are interchangeable when it comes to the training. What an active killer is someone who is actively killing people in a confined space or at one location. They evolve quickly. They're unpredictable, and they're going to keep going until they're stopped. When they meet resistance, most of the time they either commit suicide or they give up. So we need to give them resistance. Everyone likes to think couldn't happen here, not in this little town. It's all quiet, but the reality is it does happen. It happens in towns of all different sizes. I'm not going to go over each and every one of them, but I'm going to point out this one, a town of less than 600, town of 600 people. 26 people were shot and killed in church. And this in California, an elementary school that heard gunfire outside, and the guy rammed the gate that they had by their parking lot, and they immediately went to lockdown. And after about 6 minutes of the guy trying to get in the building, he got frustrated and left. So locking doors helps. You know, most killers are males, most act alone. Very high percentage. 67% of the events are over before police could even get there. That's responding units, not necessarily the officers that are already on campus. But 90% of all active shooter events are over within 10 minutes or less. 70% are over within 5 minutes or less. And 37% of the time, they're over in 2 minutes or less. Which means, teachers, you're the first line of defense. You have to step up. This is going to be where you're going to have to stand in the gap. You need to give the students directions and let them know where to go and what to do. And when law enforcement arrives, realize that they're not there to help you get the kids out. They're not there to render first aid to somebody that's injured. They have to keep going past you and past injured people to go stop the active killer. If there's still active killing going on, they have to go do it. They have to go stop them. There's multiple law enforcement agencies that's going to show up at a school. So you're going to have people in different uniforms carrying different weapons, and you may or may not know them. Just assume that none of them know you. So follow their instructions. Don't have anything in your hand. Put your cell phone in your pocket, and just do what they tell you to do. Remain as calm as you can. It's chaos. We understand, but try to be as calm as you can. Don't approach the officers. Don't yell at them. Don't point. You know, hands up, fingers spread, and just do what they tell you to, except for one thing. If you're inside a locked room, don't open the door. Beating on the door, hey, it's security, hey, it's law enforcement, hey, sheriff's department, open the door now. Do not open the door. Lots of different programs are out there for active shooter training for businesses and schools. But understand, we plan to train, not traumatize. I won't traumatize anyone with the training. There are many different programs out there that all have similar actions. The actions are all trying to do the same thing, which is save lives. Here's a program. This is just some examples. Alive. Their actions are assess, leave, impede, violence, and expose. Here's another one's probably a little bit more familiar with some of you. Alice. Their actions are alert, lockdown, inform, counter, and evacuate. And then alert, which is probably heard of the most, talked about the most, but it's advanced law enforcement rapid response training. The reason why is this is what law enforcement training, this is their training. And who do businesses and schools contact for advice? Law enforcement agencies. This is what they're trained, this is what they do. But alert doesn't quite work for teachers, faculty, and staff. It's for law enforcement. So they came up with civilian response to active shooter events. We'll look at their actions. Avoid, deny, defend. Sounds pretty similar to some of the others. Probably the most popular ones, hide, run, fight. Its actions sound identical to civilian response to active shooter events. So this is the one that I've used more than any of them, just because it's nice and simple. It's a way to train schools and businesses. I've used this model for years, and over the past several years, there's been kind of it's not really a new program, but it's a new organization. I Love You Guys Foundation. Kind of a strange name, but it first few times I heard it didn't quite appeal to the tactical guys and the tactical missions that active shooter training for law enforcement is. But the more I learned about them, I realized what they've done is they've taken all of our different ways of teaching, or all the different programs and models, and put them together along with the after action reports of the events that have happened, and created the SRP, or Standard Response Protocol. And it has 5 actions, pretty much covers almost any event you could think of. There's some aspect of this that would be guidance to get through the event. Each action has its own directive, and they all have specific instructions, which I like. So, first one is hold. Hold in your classroom. This is in case you have a medical emergency where medical personnel had to get down the hall, or a small disturbance in the classroom, security and law enforcement had to get down the hall, and we just don't want other kids out there. Simple. Attention in the building. Hold in your classroom. Clear the hallways. Stay in the location you are, and hold at your location. So if you're in the bathroom, stay in the bathroom. You're in the library, stay in the library. And teachers will close and lock the classroom doors, take attendance, note the time, and then teach class. Business as usual. Now, the hold can be released just with an intercom. Tension in the building, resume normal activities. The hold is released. I repeat, the hold is released. And then wherever you're at, go where you're supposed to go. Secure. Now, this one is where we're kind of stepping it up just a little. Tension in the building, secure, get inside, lock the doors. I repeat, secure, get inside, lock exterior doors. What this is used is something dangerous near the school. Could be criminal activity across the street, could be uh, a vicious animal out on the parking lot or in the playground. It's something that you just don't know what's going on, but it doesn't look right. And administration says, we're going to secure. In this event, teachers, get all your students, go inside. No one should be anywhere in the parking lot or anywhere. Lock the door, and no one in or out. Inside, business as usual. During security, you teach classes. You can have class changes, but if you have to change buildings, then unless you have security or SROs or someone there saying it is safe to do so and escorting you from building to building, you're not changing buildings, you're staying there. And if you're scheduled to leave for the day, or for whatever reason, field trip, it's paused. No one leaves the building until it's safe to do so. And of course, teachers take attendance and take note of the time. Going up another notch. Lockdown. Locks, lights, out of sight. This is attention in the building. Lockdown. Lock all doors. I repeat, lockdown. Take appropriate actions now. Lockdown. Nothing bad's happened. This is your active shooter event. This is your active killer event. You've got to get people safe. And remember, we talked about how 90% of the events are over in 10 minutes or less, 70 are over in 5 minutes, or 37% of the time it's over in 2 minutes or less. So the most appropriate thing is bide your time. You need to be able to be out of sight and safe till law enforcement and security can get there. So as long as the school's up to code, you've got a solid core door, you've got a steel frame door jamb, and you've got industrial strength mechanisms for the locks. Remember the California elementary school shooter? After about 6 minutes of trying to get through those solid doors and locks, he left. No, nothing's 100%. But statistically, and all the after action reports of all the active shooter events that has happened, your best, as soon as it's called in, close and lock the doors. It should be locked, closed, and locked anyway. Turn the lights out. Get out of sight. If you can see the corridor window, it can see you. So you get out of sight. Don't be seen. Be quiet. No noise. Don't open the doors. You're knocking on law enforcement, security, doesn't matter. You do not engage with them. Don't speak. Don't say anything. Don't tell them we're not opening the door. You want to be completely silent. You want people to think there's no one in there. Why? You leave the corridor window uncovered so they can see in there. But you get in a spot where you can't be seen from that window. Leave the exterior shades alone. Don't, however they are, it's not worth messing with. Outside doors, statistically, you're worried about the inside, the active shooter walking down the hall. So don't worry about the exterior shades, just leave them alone. Teachers, when it's safe to do so, take attendance. You gotta know where everybody's at. During a lockdown, you're outside and the danger's inside. Don't go in. Go. Get out. Leave. Go tell your parents. As soon as you're somewhere safe, tell your parents, contact the school, let them know. If there's no teacher and you're in the school, same steps. Lock lights, out of sight. Find a place, lock the door, turn the light out, be quiet. If during an active shooter or during an active lockdown situation, whatever it is, if it's a lockdown, fire alarm goes off, don't immediately run out the door. Look for, the teacher needs to look for smoke or signs of fire, and also look for an alternative route. If you've got a way out of the classroom other than the hallway, take that route because the hallway may not be your safest bet. When security and law enforcement come in, they're going to be loud. If they're coming in, especially if there's an active shooter in your room, we're coming in hot. It's going to be loud. It's going to be like chaos. But trust me, it's controlled chaos. We're coming in. We will never, ever sit outside and wait. If you got an active shooter in your room, I'm coming in. Evacuation. Keep your phone and keys and wallet on your person. If your backpack's on you or you got a purse, you can take it with you. Law enforcement may tell you to throw it down when you get to a certain location and you come out. But for the most part, if you have it, the main thing is you don't have time to go back and get it. So if you have your backpack, throw it on, but have your wallet, keys, and your phone in your pocket in case you need to throw your bag down. Because if you don't throw your bag down, don't reach in your bag. It's too late to get anything out of that bag. Just leave it alone. Listen to directions. They're going to tell you specifically what they want you to do. Once you get there, teachers, take attendance. We have to know where these students are at. We have to have accountability. We have to know if we're missing anybody. If you have to self-evacuate, you know, don't go to your vehicles. At any time evacuating, and it's not safe to stay there and you have to go, students cannot go to their vehicles. Don't go to your cars. It's too dangerous. For one, it could be using your vehicles as bait for you to come out and somebody just shoot you while you're going out to your car, or it's going to be like a demolition derby if y'all start jumping in your cars and taking off. So you're going to have cars crashing into each other with people running around getting hit by cars. Too dangerous. Stay away from the car lot. And when you get to a safe location, contact your parents and the school. Students, keep your hands visible and empty. Cell phone in pocket. You can bring it, keep it in your pocket. The reason why I want you to bring it is that's the best way for you to get hold of your parents. That's where all your numbers are at. Stay off the phone until you're safe, get to a safe location, and then send a text. Because if everyone gets on their phone at the same time, it will overwhelm the system, and emergency responders may not be able to speak to each other. So, quick text once you get to a safe location. And again, when law enforcement and security come in, they may come in loud. And if you're out of sight, hiding in the classroom, law enforcement and security come in and maybe come in and say, okay, we've got this end of the hall clear. We need you to evacuate and go this way. They will tell you what to do. Just follow their directions. Of course, teachers, grab your attendance sheet, bring your phone, and take attendance. Something not mentioned in SRP. Fight. Last resort, if you got no choice, if they're on you, don't just surrender, fight. Fight with everything you got. Be as aggressive as possible. Hit them with books, hit them with cell phones, hit them with laptops, hit them with chairs, hit them with pencils, anything you got. Hit them all at once. Yell and shout, disorient them. If you disarm, get the weapon away from the active killer, don't pick that weapon up. Don't have it in your hands. Cover it with a trash can or something. If you have to evacuate after you've disarmed the active killer and the weapon will fit inside the trash can, just set it in the trash can and carry the trash can. As soon as you see law enforcement or security, set the can down, walk away from it, say there's a weapon in that, and then tell them what happened. They'll tell you what to do from there. But remember, you want to be a victor, not a victim. Fight. Decide right now that you're going to fight, and just because somebody gets shot or cut doesn't mean you're dead. Keep fighting. Got to keep going. Now back to the normal SRP. Shelter. All right, this is for tornado, earthquake, and of course the zombie apocalypse because it could happen. Listen for instructions while you're in the. Be prepared for the unexpected because it's unexpected, so you should be prepared for it. And teachers, take attendance. Kind of like to know where those kids are at. All right, this has been an overview of the standard response protocol and the 5 actions that they take. Hope you learned something. If you want more information on the SRP, you can go to iloveyoguys.org. They have a lot of resources, stuff you can print out. There's videos you can watch. There's a lot of good information on that that's free. Just go to their website and start reading. So create a go bag. Get something that has your class rosters in there. If you have multiple classes, then of course you got to have multiple rosters. Keep it updated in your go bag. Have a medical kit, trauma kit, have cell phone charger, I don't know, whatever you need in your go bag. Have it in there and have it ready. Be prepared to do any safety drill. You should be familiar with the guidelines and know how to perform them. Ensure that the information is available for a substitute if you have to be gone, and realize we will not do a high stress active shooter drill with students on campus. It's not going to happen. And we will never, ever do a no notice active shooter drill. So if you hear anybody yell gun, active shooter, anything along those lines, it's not a drill. We will not do a no notice drill ever. So if you hear something that indicates it's a shooter, it's real, not a drill.